everyone, especially all of you fellow crafters. First I want to thank you, all of you, for your sweet comments that you have given me through my videos, and I really appreciate it. That's very nice of you. And also welcome all of you that subscribe to my channel. I hope I can, don't disappoint you. And it's like everything else. You'll have some good days and some bad days. But anyway, I'm hoping I can bring some good, fresh ideas every time to the table. This is the second video on my top. As you saw it on my first one, I had glued the lace on the front. And now what I did was I went and put some extra little flowers right here on this V here by the front of the blouse, in here and in here. And of course I had another one, just a loose flower of the same trim, and I went and put it over here to kind of finish it off and make, kind of cover things up. And then what I did, I just tucked, before I tucked anything, what I did is lay the lace very careful, and just let the lace lay as they wants to. In other words, don't pull it here. Don't try to shift it against its well, if you may. So what you wanted to do, like I say, just kind of pat it, make sure that it's gonna go where it wants to be, and at the same time for it to look good. Once I did that, I just a little bit of that fabric fusion right here, okay? Just a dot in the back of each little flower, of every little flower, and just stack them where they lay, okay? And then what that did is, they're gonna stay down there, but in between where I didn't do anything, it kind of looks like it's loose, which is what I wanted. I wanted to have that look. And then I went in, and I didn't know whether I was gonna sew or glued the pearls. I decided on gluing the pearls. So I've got some bigger ones around the neck and a little bit smaller on the little flowers. And I think it turned out absolutely gorgeous. Now I missed one in here, and I will glue it, in a little bit. One thing too, you have to be very careful. The fabric fusion is good and all that, but you can only do a little piece at a time. So either have a heat gun, or I just my old faithful hair dryer on a low setting, and I just kind of try to get it as dry as I could, so that I'll be able to go to my next step. Otherwise, especially when you're gluing the pearls, if you don't have it anchored pretty good, if you move to another direction, the other ones are going to start falling off. That's the only thing that you have to be careful with. But other than that, like I said, it was very simple. I like the way this lace in here just goes a little bit off on my sleeve. They're not the same because, of course, this particular lace is a pattern. But unless you look really close, it's okay. Like for instance, this one here is longer, and on this side, this one is shorter. This one's shorter, and here's is longer. It's okay. I don't care. It looks good. It's not gonna bother me. And anybody else probably would think it's supposed to be that way. Okay, so this is what I did to the front. And on the back, I did the same thing. Once I got it all down, again, I placed my lace that was going the direction it's supposed to go without, moving it too much. Once I hit it like I want to, little by little, I'll tag all my little flowers, just the little flowers. And then when I got through, then I start gluing my pearls on top of them. And I think it turned out beautiful. I like it really well. And when you get done, really, what you're gonna have is a piece that it looks like you bought it at a very nice boutique. And that's what you want. You want something that's gonna be different. And also it's original because you make it the way you want it. And anyway, so this is the top, the top of the blouse. Now on the bottom, I did the gluing on the, let me do the back, because that way you'll see what I've done. Okay, what I did was, let me take this pencil out because really, hold it. See, I try to do things ahead of myself just to save time, and of course sometimes I overdo it. Okay, this is the back, and as you know, as the front, as the first video that we did, we kind of cut it a little bit around, a little bit longer in the back, okay? And what I did was, hang on there, okay? What I did was let me put this down. It's kind of hard to see, and I'm sorry, you know, because it's a big piece, but I think you'll get to know what I'm doing. And I started at the seam, at the side seam edge, overlapping it slightly to the other side, just a little bit. And then where the dangling is longer, next to the bottom, the second from the bottom flower, I wanted to finish at the edge of the hem, or at the edge of the fabric, okay? And this is where I guide myself from. So if you can kind of see right here, and then, whoops, well, just come down. Right over here also, oops. When you work with danglings, you know how it is. They want to do their own thing here. So anyway, this is kind of what I did. See, I did it the second from the bottom, only on the big one. That was my guide, okay? And I went all the way around and all the way to the front. The only thing that you might have to do, that I did have to do, is as you get to a certain point, because you're going down or up, you might have to cut these little pieces in between the flowers, and to glue them, the flowers together. Otherwise, they're too big. It's too wide. The flower, the trim is too wide. So I cut these little pieces here and there, and see, I glue them here, there, and everywhere. And there we go, okay? So I just went all the way around it. Once I was done with it, and it was dry, by the way, then what I did is, let me just place this here just a second so you can get an idea better. Let's say this. What I did is, once I got all my my laces all the way down, I just fold it up until you cannot fold it anymore because it's already glued. Now you don't want to pull it, just very naturally, just kind of, fold it like this. See? Just keep on folding, and that's it. So then what I did is a pen, mainly so they won't, crawl on me or move or whatever. And just here or there, just enough to kind of hold it down a little bit. Okay, and then let me go ahead and finish it off because I don't like very much here. I'll just go ahead and finish it off. There we go. Okay, so you just pin all of that. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to cut all but 1 inch from the where I fold it. In other words, I'm going to leave about 1 inch, because what I'm going to do is hem it. And so I don't want it to, to have more of, just want to have a small, basically what I'm going to do is probably have about half an inch of a hem. And you don't have to be exactly, you can eyeball it. If you do want to measure it, by all means do so. It's okay. And, but just enough to, give more or less 1 inch. And you're doing this because once I hem it, then you're gonna get to show the lace, and it looks so pretty. Okay, there we go. So when you get done with it, what you're gonna have is this beautiful dangling lace. I'm sorry, I've seen like my brain is on somewhere, maybe Planet X, I don't know. I can't seem to think today. Anyway, you have this beautiful lace that is gonna be hanging down, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. And on the back, you will have the same effect, see? Except it's gonna be a little bit longer in the back, and of course in the front, a little bit shorter. But the effect, I think, is absolutely gorgeous. So a simple little top, $3 top, it turned out to be boutique fashion, really. And let me tell you, this will be very expensive in a boutique. So anyway, so one thing you have to look when you're looking at bargains, just to give you a little bit of an idea, make sure the fabric is fairly good fabric, okay? It don't have to be very well made, but if it has potential, the fabric's the main thing. This is more like I want to say micro net, maybe, that real soft. It just feels wonderful. So this is one of the things you're going to that you're going to look for. The next thing you're going to look is your seams. Now this one here just have a surgeon seam. In other words, this could easily be pulled, let me get this folded in here just a second. This kind of seam, and you know what I'm talking about, just a little surgeon seam, okay? This can easily be, if you're not careful, it can rip. So I will be doing to this is actually go over it and sew over that inside stitch, and that way I know it's no way it's gonna come off. Now this is where I like to do it. If it doesn't bother you, then it's fine, okay? But since I put time and effort and lace in my top, I want to make sure it stays. And I probably do the same thing in the sleeves, and of course, and on the other side. Now the hem, and I'm not gonna do it there. I really do a very short tutorial and show you the whole thing finished, because this will take time, because the hem I'm actually gonna do by hand. I love to sew by hand. So what you're going to do is about an inch, okay? You're gonna turn about half an inch in, and then this curls, by the way, toward the right side, so you really need to pin it good. Okay, see what I mean? And that's what you want. You want about a half an inch of a seam. So I will be pinning this all the way around, and then I just do a little hem stitch, real simple hem stitch. And I can show that in another tutorial that we can see it better, maybe with a different color and everything. But if you sew, you know how to do a hem, just kind of almost like a whip stitch, really. You can do it that way too. I mean, it's real simple. Now, if you do not sew, oh, excuse me, I moved the camera. If you do not sew, then go ahead and do a very thin, right under the little fold, a very thin running line of that fabric fusion, or maybe fabric tack or something like that. And then let it dry, okay? And once it's dry, it's fine. If that's what you want. The reason I'm not going to, because it's got glue already in here, and even though it's soft, it's not, I don't want it stiffer than that. I don't want my, my hem to be stiff. I want it to be flowing on my body. So if it has too much glue, it has a tendency to kind of extend out a little bit, and I didn't want to do that, okay? Now another thing I want to show you that I'm going to do to this is right here is where my lace finished, okay, and the other one started. So you see these two little right there, those two little things in there, the what do you call little strips of lace there. Okay, the reason I left those in there is because with a needle and thread, and I will take the time to do that, I will whip it in there and make sure that it's going to hold together like that. And the reason I'm doing that because it could be easily come off, maybe rubbing on something, and I don't want to do that. So I'll sew it by hand, connecting this here with my flower, and then that way it will look great. Another way to do this would be if I had overlap a flower right on top of this one, and it may be all right too, but that will make it a little bulkier. So I like this better. I like to take my time and just do it, you know, just stitch it by hand. I love to do that, it's no problem. And I will be doing the same thing like in here, attach this one to this one, and attach, you know, that one to that one. And then you can kind of tell where it needs it, but that's what I'm gonna do in here. That's where I finished the lace, but also where I started it, which is be right here. That's the other end. So again, I left the two little, let's see these two little things, the little antennas I call it. See the two little antennas? Okay, those are gonna be stitched right into the flower, okay? And I will be doing the same thing with this. Now the way that this one finished, see, actually I'm gonna overlap this little flower over this one, but that's okay because I want to stitch it very lightly and that's no big deal. And then I'll, you know, overlap this one to this one, and then it will look just fine. And that's really all you have to do. It won't take you long to sit there and do it. Or you can glue it and you know, and hopefully it will stay very well. I just don't know, so I cannot tell you 100%, you know, what it will do, okay? I don't usually, like I said before on my first video, I don't glue anything like this. I usually sew it, but just to all those crafters and you know, people out there that don't sew, this is another option. Now it takes 24 hours for it to dry completely, this particular glue. So, and it will take 48 hours before you're actually going to wash it, okay? Now, it says in there that you can wash in a gentle cycle. It does not say anything about drying. So what I'm going to do with my top, because I want to give you all the information that I can in my next video, is I will get through with it. I will wash it on my gentle cycle in my washing machine, and then I'll try to put it on a cool drying setting, okay? And if everything comes out, I will tell you. If not, I will tell you also. And like I said, the worst that can happen, and maybe some of these pros come off, or maybe some of the you know, glue will come off in the dryer, and it might not. So the only way to do is for me to try and then tell you, okay? So until the next one, which will be probably pretty quick, we'll be seeing you.